Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. I've had lots of practice lately. How about you? Have you had practice lately, piecing out, figuring out how to find that peace in the middle of whatever storms life have thrown at you, right? Or you've found yourself in, maybe through something you did or didn't do, right? And you still just keep ticking. That's the main thing. We just keep moving on. This week's book of the week is Peace Out, by the way. It's in the Bible. And I like that little subtitle down here. I don't remember where it came to my mind, but I said, knowing God means constant peace, even in the presence of trouble. And lately, things that are going on in our nation right now, we've been in the presence of trouble, right? But we can still peace out because God didn't unplug his peace. He didn't say, oh, I ain't got none for 2024. So I don't know what you're going to do. You know, his peace, Jesus still left it here. It's up to us to figure out how to walk closely with him and enjoy that peace, even when there's crazy things going on around us, right? Actually, that's going to lead us right into what we're going to talk about today. And we're talking about prepositions today. And yesterday we talked about being in, right? That in was preposition. I don't know what we talked about right this second. Yesterday's long gone, right? Right. And besides, the fight I had with these little things trying to get them all entangled this morning changed my whole world for 5 seconds. So I've got to go Bluetooth here pretty soon. Right? I'm going to have to. So this morning, though, here's where we are. We're in Psalm 91, and this is a favorite scripture, and we like it's used widely to pray over people. You pray for God's protection because it talks a lot about God's protection. We're just going to look at verse 1, but Psalm 91 is a really good psalm to read. It's a good one to have in your heart, and then you can encourage yourself with it when you do go through storms and when things get crazy. And verse 1 says this: he who dwells in the secret place, there's one preposition, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under. There's our preposition for the day. Under the shadow of the Almighty. We get up under. Remember our prepositions, they talk about positionally. Where are you in relation to the noun, basically in the sentence, right? So it's always usually comes right before the noun and forms a prepositional phrase with an article. Normally in between, not always, right? But we're under the shadow of the Almighty. We're under. So I started thinking, now my New Living kind of failed me this morning because it said we'll find rest there. So I thought, I bet if I look up rest in my handy dandy Strong's Concordance, I'm going to find that it's peace. I'm going to find peace in the shadow of the Almighty, which is the truth, right? I just wanted a scripture for it. So I looked it up in the handy dandy Concordance, which is on my Bible, which is on my phone, and it didn't mean that at all. So I lost a bet with myself already this morning. This is not going well. Anyway, so I looked it up though in the Concordance, and what I did find was just as interesting as it would have been had rest, that the New Living used rest for the word abide, under the shadow of the Almighty, right, for the word abide there. And so I thought, but it didn't mean rest. It didn't even say anything about rest. It's a primary root, so there was nothing to go seeking out all these little veins of the word, where the word came from. You know, there was nowhere to go with it. It was a primary root in the Hebrew, but you know what it meant? It basically meant stay all night. And I was like, wow. And it had a whole bunch of other, like, obstinate, just being stubborn about being under the shadow of the Almighty. This being, that's a good thing to be stubborn about. I'm going to stay connected with God. I'm going to figure out how to let his peace reign. I'm going to figure out how to get through this storm without walking away from my faith, because you need that faith in that storm. Let me just tell you, the faith doesn't prevent the storm or help you avoid the storm or help you avoid bad things in your life, but the faith is what carries you through a storm. I know this from experience, okay? Anyway, so you're going to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. So we're going to get up under the shadow of God. Just think about that for a second. God is so massive. Now, he is all light, so this isn't a shadow like darkness, right? It's a shelter. It's a shelter of God. You get up under, when things go crazy in your life, you get up under that shelter of God, and under means under, right? How do you describe some of these words, right? Above means above, under means under. But it says he's our refuge. We stay under the shadow, under the protection of God, under his heart. cared for, covered. He's covering us during the storms. And at first I was like, night? How could abide mean stay all night? That didn't even make sense for a minute. And then I thought, oh, it makes perfect sense, because it's those night times of our lives. Oswald Chambers used the phrase, the dark night of the soul, for those things that you go through that are just gut-wrenching, hard. You just can't see your way through it. He calls it the dark night of the soul. And you can stay under God's protection, under the cover of his peace, protected by his word all night long. There's no expiry date. God doesn't say, well, you can stay till Tuesday, and then you got to find something else. What kind of deal would that be? Hey, I would still stay till Tuesday. But he doesn't say that. He just welcomes us. Stay all night. Stay as long as you need to. Stay covered. Stay connected. Stay protected. Just crawl up in a fetal position and cry for a minute if you need to. Sometimes life gets that hard. Most days aren't that hard, but there are those days that are that hard, right? And God just says, stay as long as the night lasts. I got you covered. You can dwell in the secret place of God, the secret place of the Most High, and we can abide. But listen to the next verse here, okay? We're going to abide or stay all night. For the whole night season, God's got you covered. That was really what I grabbed hold of today, was I can stay there all night as long as I need to, and until I think I can see again, until I think and I can just live there if I want to. Abide means stay, right? We're going to stay for the whole night season. But then in verse 2, David goes on in Psalm 91 and makes a declaration, and we talk about declarations and how powerful they are, because after he says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High and stays all night under the cover of God's protection, he says this, I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge. He is my fortress. He is my God, and in him I will trust. In him I will trust. And that declaration will help get you through making that declaration. And like I said, one of the terms in the Hebrew is to be obstinate. Be obstinate about making God your refuge. Be intentional about saying, God's going to be my refuge. I'm going to stay protected by God. I'm going to stay connected to his word, and I'm going to stay under the shadow this whole night season. However long it lasts, God will still be my refuge. God will still be my fortress, and I will trust in him. I refuse to try to trust in anything else. That's something to be stubborn about. That's a good kind of stubborn, right? That's right. And that's when we can peace out. We'll stay all night. Make up our mind. I'm going to stay all night under the shadow of the Almighty. I'm going to stay through the storm right there where there's peace all night long. That's why I can peace out. Peace out, you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you again tomorrow.